Alright, this is Sep. In this video, I'm going to share with you how consistency is equals to conversions, the compounding effect of a single AI rep. Here's the problem. The problem is the reason why you don't close is because you're not consistent enough, right? In this video, I'm going to share with you how you can utilize AI to leverage more consistency into your business, into your pipeline, so you can actually milk that lead that comes in, right? So let's say you have a prospect, right? This prospect comes through some type of funnel online, right? You have two options. Option number one, potentially it goes to your CRM. Maybe you have some team members, VAs, ISAs, a couple of them, and it goes there and it's waiting for them to hit it. They come in next morning, next day, sometimes try to follow up with those leads, and those leads might not even pick up. That's the one option. The other option is this lead goes directly to one AI agent, that single AI rep that you train to handle all your internal leads. It gets better and better over time because it gets context, it gets data, it knows your product, it knows all the rebuttals and everything, right? Versus multiple people who are scattering, always, mishandling. Maybe Friday comes in, they don't have the energy, right? If you're building your business on those foundations, not a good position to be. Why? Because inconsistency is what creates low conversions. And when you have those low conversions, you have lack of doubt kicks in. Maybe you start blaming the leads. Everybody starts blaming the leads. It's never about the leads, it's about actually working those leads correctly. So the solution to this is one thing: building your foundations when it comes to qualification, when it comes to follow-ups, those low-level activities that virtual assistants do, those low-level activities that probably anybody, new trainee, might be able to run. Not the closers. The closers are obviously going to be the more veteran, people with more experience. You yourself, or someone who's been in the game, knows the game for longer, right? So we're not automating, we're not putting anything near the high-value activities, just the low-level activities, call reminders, show-ups, follow-ups, lead qualification. That single AI rep does a much better job than a virtual assistant than anybody else. Why? Because it's consistent. It's consistent every time, right? It asks the right questions. It builds a database of similar prospects in the past. It gets better and better. This is where we want to go towards. Why? Because when the lead comes in, what goes to the demo gets booked. You and I or somebody else is gonna forget about it after a couple times we try, because new leads coming up, your energy scattered. The AI, it won't. It'll make 16, 17 touch points based on what we see to actually do the follow up, get them to an actual yes or no position, right? Almost simultaneously with all the other activities. So it's not limited to one factor. If you watch that movie Her, right? Go and watch it. You'll understand exactly what we're talking. We're talking about a potential, a scenario where you're simultaneously talking to thousands of people. That's where the AI is capable of versus your rep. Your rep can handle one-on-one, maybe 2, 3, and then they start tripping over each other. It's inefficient. It's costly. We don't want to build our foundations on anything like that. So this is why we're telling you guys to, if you want to increase conversions, if you want to increase consistency in your pipeline, start building the systems with AI, because it'll give you a leverage to do other things and fill in those gaps indefinitely, right? So why is this so powerful? Because at the end of the day, if you keep it consistent with one individual, the more individuals that come into play, the follow up, for example, let's say the rep 1 calls a prospect, books the call. Then the rep 2 comes because that one person is not available. Their job was to just do the SDR, sales development. Over time, the prospect gets confused because there's a new voice, new brand, right? I've been on certain calls I've received where this person introduces them as Sam, for example, the initial person, and the next day another person calls maybe a week later, think you forgot about them, and they introduce themselves as Sam, but it's a whole different voice, and you lose trust within that company. So if you have 3 to 5 people running your pipeline, and you think that's probably the best way to do it, that's the most efficient way to do it. It's not. Unfortunately, the more touch points that happen with different individuals, the less conversions that's going to happen. But if you keep it consistent, you have the same voice, same individual, same data set, same, next time they talk to them, they understand it, they recognize their voice. Multiple times, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, by the 13th, 14th, 15th time, you've already almost built a relationship with that person. Now, are they going to know it's AI? Maybe. Are they not? In most cases, no, because the AI we use is very realistic, and it gets the job done. That's all it really matters. Its job is not to have a 30-minute conversation. It's a 2-minute conversation, just checking in type of scenario. So if you're doing this, if your conversions are down, if you're someone that's operating a system that relies on qualifying people, nurturing those leads, following up with them, making sure they're taken care of, they have assets being shared with them, videos, whatever it is that you have, and you're still operating in the old school mentality of having VAs, agents, all that mess, you might want to increase those conversions by deploying an AI rep, right? So if you want to learn more about it, you can check the link description below, or go to creativeprocess.io to check out some of our case studies. We'll be able to help you out, potentially expedite your sales pipeline. And this might work for you if you are a realtor, if you are a broker, or anybody that has a sales process. You might even be a coach consultant. If you're taking in calls, book calls, people coming in, Zoom, whether it's Zoom, real life, and you need to follow up with that person, qualify them, make sure they're legit. You want to save some time and expedite that process, I would highly recommend you build your systems on that, because you control that and it's leverage, right? Versus the other way, you have to train. There's always this back and forth. Sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down. There's relying on emotions. So if I were you, I would definitely check some systems like that. It will help you expedite that process. And if you want to increase your conversions, this is the way to go from now on, 2025, 2026. As these things get better and cheaper and just much, much more normalized versus the old way of doing things, right? So that being said, I'll check you on the next video and we'll go from there.